Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I want to talk to you guys today about the press conference between Dominic Brazil and the WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder. Now, this was very, very interesting. It was very colorful. It was very charismatic. And you know what made it that way? Pastor Wilder. You know why he made it that way is because Deontay Wilder has a lot to say. One thing about Wilder is he's not a loss for words when it comes to talking smack. He has a PhD in shit talking. You know, he just got his bachelor's last year in the Fury fight. You know, however, Fury has a master's degree, right? But definitely Deontay Wilder has, graduated with shit talk. But it's fueled by other things. It's fueled by the incident that happened in Mississippi 2 years ago, okay? And that is really what I want to talk to you guys about. You know, both sides are hell-bent on it's the other guy's fault, okay? They're blaming, oh, well, this guy had this entourage, and Deontay was taken up for his brother, and then Deontay's brother sucker punched Dominic Brazil, and Dominic Brazil's supposed to sucker punch his brother. Then the kids got involved where the screaming rants with Deontay Wilder was screaming at Dominic Brazil's wife, and his wife was screaming back at Dominic Brazil, and then he was feeling, hey, my wife was involved, and my kids were involved. So it was, it's one of those things where I think that alone really led to Deontay's determination on the death comments. You know what I'm saying? I think, because he reiterated, like, you don't know how close you were to losing your life that night. It was guys that had guns that were going to off you that night. Which is not the smartest thing to say, but hey, no guns and none of that was fired, so it's just talk at the end of the day. But the beef and the trash talk went back and forth. Deontay Wilder carried that and rallied that shit pretty much by himself. Dominic Brazil, he's not a talk at all, man. And I hope he uses his hands to do what his mouth can't. Because Deontay Wilder, as contrast from the talking battle, Deontay beat him already. Deontay was like, I'm not your friend, homie. I'm not any of that. You best believe I'm coming for you. And Dominic Brazil, he was just like, I'm just tired of this chump. He needs to shut up. I'm going to shut this chump up for everybody. And Dominic and Deontay Wilder, Alabama country boy, as he is, has the loud, obnoxious, voice. And he was like, well, first of all, hell, we can't believe what he say because he don't have no bass in his voice. That was funny because I was thinking that same thing because I'm like, damn, Dominic Brazil does have a little puny ass voice. You know what I mean? I'm tired of this chump. This chump, he needs to get somebody to shut him up, and they can't wait to fight. It's mano a mano. It sounded like real soft, like monotone. You know what I mean? And and then it was just funny how that Deontay Wilder was like, you can't believe what he say because he don't have no bass in his voice. Saying he has a pussy sounding voice, and that was amusing because like a lot of people was like, okay, and then Dominic Brazil was like, hey, I didn't know it was comedy hour, in here, I thought this was a fight, so it was really entertaining, but then seriously, guys, the question lies: who was really telling the truth? What we could see on TMZ really wasn't that clear because it was like someone took it with a cell phone, you could tell, because it wasn't even, widescreen. It was, someone was was just catching it, you know. I mean, it was the spur of the moment type thing, which is understandable. But, you know, we don't know who was really at fault with the reasons why that altercation really happened. Who was the reason for it? You know, according to Deontay Wilder, is the Dominic Brazil was threatening to kill his family and, you know, and hurt him before that incident happened. And, you know, one thing about Wilder, the problem about Wilder is we don't know when he's trying to build something or, you know, or we don't know if he's really, really serious. You know, sometimes he seems genuine, but then you got to remember his passion's acting. So we don't know if that's something that he's trying to convince other people, or is that something that he's really, truly feeling? So that's the question about Deontay. You know, like, now that face-off did look convincing. It looked like, hey, I'm going to get you, boy. I'm going. You know, he was face-to-face with Dominic. Dominic was, you know, holding his composure. But I got to add you the funny things about these guys and their trainers. Dominic's trainer was looking like, this dude, he looks freaking flabbergasted all the time. He's like, you know, he's just always like, dude, what's up with you? You know what I mean? Like, you know, like he doesn't know what the hell is going on most of the time. And Virgil Hunter was on the other end, and he was just like, fuck, these dudes don't shut up. Like, you know, just kind of taking it all in, you know. And then Virgil Hunter is a guy that, it's funny, I thought that he would have a lot to say, but he really didn't. You know, because I guess it was so much talking around him that I guess he was like, dude, okay, I'm just going to stay out of this. You know, I'm going to let these dudes just talk, or let Deontay Wilder blow and get everything that he needs to get out. Because he had a lot to say in that press conference. But the one thing about it is, if it's build up, if it's genuine, if it's not, it's still entertaining at the end of the day. So I do look forward to the fight. I'm looking forward for this face-off. I'm looking for some, and I think it's going to be somewhat of like Tyson Fury Wilder, how they had to have they were already separated before because they knew the tension. Even though it hasn't got that bad yet, I think it would be smart for those guys to do that in the face-off, because you don't want Dominic Brazil to finally lose it, or Deontay Wilder to poke him in the eye like he did Fury or something like that, and it makes a bigger altercation. We just need to see the fight, leave all that emotion in the ring. Save it for the ring. So I think it's going to be a good fight, and the press conference was really good, you know, and both guys won't bend on whose fault it was, but I would love to see who was the actual culprit in that situation. Or was it a little bit of both? Because it could always be like, Dominique shouldn't have really did this, and then Deontay Wilder shouldn't have really did that. You know, it could be one of those situations. So we just really have to wait and see. But guys, stay tuned. Of course, I promise you guys the face-off and what will happen in the face-off. I will cover that later on tonight as time permits. Of course, you guys, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.